Hi, Holly, and hi, Susan. I saw your comment talking to Susan on YouTube, Holly, but I didn't see Susan's comment. I don't know why it's not there on YouTube, but it's not. It's going really well, actually. Thank you for asking. How are you doing? How's the arm? I've been working on TikTok stuff, recording videos and whatnot. Hey, Anna, setting up my TikTok shop, y'all. Well, I had my TikTok shop up, but they flagged me because they didn't think I was a real person. So I had to submit some uh, proof that I am who I say I am, and that is currently awaiting approval. Hey, Matt. How are you? Hey, Cassandra. You saw it? Awesome. Your arm is doing well. Doesn't really hurt. Good. I'm glad to hear that you're healing well. Let's put this over here. All right. Get back to what I'm supposed to be doing on Facebook because I totally got sidetracked. Duncan, I literally, I was a few seconds late on starting the live because Duncan wanted in, so I had to let him in. Now he's crying to get out. Duncan, get a life. Hold on, son. Let me do my thing, and then I will let you out in a minute. Bossy? You're bossy. He's so bossy. Can you hear that cat? He's crazy. Hold on, Duncan. Hold on, guys. 1 minute. Let me get this shared. Did I see Kara pop up on the comments, or was I just seeing her face on Facebook? I don't know. Hold on, Duncan. There's so much going on right now. My ADHD is like everywhere. Okay, I just saw Kara on Facebook. I was like, I don't know. All right, guys, let me let Duncan out again. Here, buddy. Go ahead. Don't come back in. He's so rotten. I love him though. He's precious. I was talking to the lady at the store today because I had to go get cat food. Cat food. So I got cat treats, dry cat food, and wet cat food. We ran out of all of those today. So I had to go to the store, and I'm talking to the cashier about cats and how they are so narcissistic. I'm like, yeah, if I don't get their food like right now, they're gonna assassinate me when I get home. She's like, I know what you mean. So we had a lovely little chat about that. It's been a really nice day. Tomorrow's the last day of school for my kids. Hey, Sonia. And I was giggling whenever the countdown was happening. Lucian walked into the living room and was talking to his brothers and was like, oh, man, I miss second grade. Tomorrow's the last day of second grade for him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these kids are so funny. Okay. I don't know how this is gonna go, you guys. I'm gonna be surprised, just like you, when we get into it, because I'm like, where are we going with this? So, hi, Wendy. Hi, Suzanne. Love you, ladies. Yeah, I don't know where this is gonna go, but we're gonna find out together, okay? Because it looks a little, yeah. We'll see where it goes. Let me take another drink. This might be a long-winded one. I don't know if you guys can see my veins, because I can see my veins. I was talking to you guys yesterday about it, but now I don't have like a hoodie on. I don't know. You can see how pale I am, but there's right here going down. You can see I'm kind of, I don't know. Hello, Heidi. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. And hey, Sue. How are you, darling? Same. I had a mission today finding a 1.5 millimeter screw that popped out of my compass. Oh my goodness. Abundant and manifested the one the following day. Nice. You're working on a pentagram. That's so cool, Matt. You'll have to share it with us in the group when you're finished. Okay. Speak up. Got the throat trying to close down already. Okay. Let's barrel through that. Ready? Duncan, I literally, you guys saw it. He's crying at the door again, wanting back in. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to cater to his narcissism. C-section scars block our meridians, flow, heart, brain, thyroid. No. Totally inaccurate. I mean, I won't say that. I will say in those who aren't aware or working on maintaining a higher frequency, you know, just like people that don't do spiritual hygiene, they can be susceptible to all kinds of caca, but I get bullshit from that. I'm sorry. Take it if it resonates for you, but personally for me, nah. Nope. Okay, so we have perfect. Tap into your gifts. Use your own discernment. Only you know what aligns and what resonates for you. So tap into your gifts. And tapping into your gifts to move situations forward. We've got the Chariot card showing up on the bottom of the deck. So things about to go in. Oh, that explains it. Thanks, Wendy. Yeah, that explains it. Hey, Dallas. How are you, love? So this is also the card of Cancer. Cancer season is coming up shortly, but right now we're in Gemini season, you guys. And we've got the Lovers showing up in the reverse. Lovers being the card of Gemini. Okay, so just we'll get to that in a minute because I don't know. Tapping into your gifts though, overcoming, pushing through with that Chariot card. So we'll go back to the Lovers card. This is the reversal of the Lovers card on the vice versa deck. So that is in the upright, but this came out in the reverse. They are not separate. They're still holding hands. So what I got from this was overcoming through difficulty. This it could be with a partner or some kind of a relationship outside of yourself, with yourself and another person. But for the most part, this is going to be overcoming difficulty and maintaining that balance, coming probably creating deeper union within yourself. What was meant to fragment you or keep you out of balance has pushed you to maintain but anchor even deeper into that balance, and that's the poetic justice here. Merkaba, yes. That's the poetic justice, is what was meant to break you, to suppress you, to keep you stuck, to keep you stagnant. It's not working because you have anchored even deeper into that peace, into that balance, because you're sick of getting thrown off course every time something I keep hearing inconsiderate. Maybe every time someone's inconsiderate. But that's not what I was about to say, and it made me completely lose track of exactly what I was going to say. But huge manifestations coming. All right, be aware of what you put listening ears and eyes to. So watch for the signs. Watch for the opportunities around you. Be mindful of the energies. Organize your life. Be mindful of the energies and organizing where you place your focus, your energy, your attention, your emotions. Even whenever problems arise, we have car problems, okay? Problems are arising because you deserve better. So these problems will take place so that you can choose better, so that you can create better. So focus those intentions, you guys. Whatever's falling apart, whatever is breaking away is spiritual protection. So think about it differently. Crikey, that was a lot of bottom of the deck cards. this love is unconditional, hashtag love, self-love. But if you are dealing with another person, um, this love is unconditional. They have good intentions, and this relationship will last a lifetime. Or sorry, long time. I every time I see that, I think lifetime. So I don't know. It could be lifetime. You never know. It could be the rest of your life. Whatever works for you. But this relationship will last a long time. Yeah, Wendy, totally agree. Hey, Princess, you're able to comment on Facebook. Yay. So, Phoenix Rising moment. This is the Knight of Wands. This is the reversal, but this, again, it's right next to that Lover's card that was in reverse, but it's like overcoming difficulty and coming through it stronger and more powerful and more balanced because of that. And also, if this is with regard to you and another person, then it's, despite anything that's, any challenge that has rocked this connection, whether it's romantic or otherwise, doesn't matter. It hasn't. It's made you more stronger. It's sent you into this Phoenix Rising energy. So things are really going to amp up. Things, you're burning away all that no longer serves the connection, whether that's with you and your higher self or you and another person, doesn't matter. Whatever is kind of cocking up the connection, it's being burned away. The fire transmutes, it transforms. So you are the phoenix rising from the ashes now. This is rebirth in its most sacred form. And both of those cards have fire on them too. So that's cute. We have justice in the reverse. Love you long time. Hey, Dale. Justice showing up in the reverse. That butterfly on that sword, the sword is facing down. So this could be endings. This could be lack of communication or cutting off communication. But this is transformation. The scales are on the ground. She's no longer weighing those things. It's like mic drop, truth drop, mic drop. Hello, awesome. Thanks for joining us. Also, if it's with regard to new relationships, this one we talked about where they have good intentions, love is unconditional and this relationship will last a long time. If it's with regard to those types of relationships, then it's like the scales and this justice card being on the ground, it's like you're no longer measuring or looking for every single red flag that there possibly could be. It's not being guarded anymore, not realizing that doesn't work. It just manifests more situations or more energy where you are being let down. You are, whenever you go seeking red flags, you're going to find a ton of them. It's not to say gloss over those red flags. Absolutely not. Hold your boundaries and, place them around your worth, which is very high. But this is like you're not fighting against anymore. 5 of Swords. It's like you've already conquered those inner demons, the doubt, the fear, the paranoia, perhaps, of things not going right, because past traumas, situations that really, traumatize you, that really hurt you, and your ego trying to preserve you by not allowing you to go into anything, any kind of situation that looks or resembles even remotely a situation that was painful before. This is, training your ego. We don't have to fight every single little thing. We can be open and vulnerable to those who are proving, they have a lot of green flags. Being mindful, though, if you do spot a red flag, really assess the situation. How do I feel about this? What does this look like? And use your discernment. It doesn't mean just bypass any red flag because, oh, Rebel said they have good intentions, because this is a collective reading. Okay, you could be on any side of this energy here. So just be mindful, use your own discernment, tap into those gifts. Like that first card said when we first started the reading, okay, tap into your gifts, use your discernment. Discernment is one of those gifts. Overcoming pain, trauma. We have the 3 of Swords. This is healing. Okay, healing situations that may have brought you to your knees in the past. Those things can get you in that Queen of Wands reverse. That is wounded feminine energy. That is anger, frustration, sadness, pain, trauma. Okay? We don't operate from the toxic feminine anymore. We healed her. We integrated her. So that's why this situation, you're manifesting a new person with good intentions, or a new situation, since you are in balance with your masculine and feminine, you are aligned with the highest version of you. You're using your discernment. You're no longer operating from lack mentality in any way. Hi, Steph. I did get your notice before the podcast. Didn't have time to address it though. So I'll message you after the podcast is over and we'll schedule a time to get you in. Excuse me. Clearing that throat chakra. You got to advocate. You got to speak up. And, you know, the wounded feminine can be very suppressed, can be very timid, can be, you know, very withdrawn and not want to advocate for herself or speak up. But this is healing that, overcoming that, being able to walk away with that Five of Cups showing up in the reverse. This is walking away. On the upright, he's still dwelling over the spilled cups and not even paying attention to those two full cups right behind him in that bridge that goes over to paradise, to his kingdom. Okay. He's not paying attention to that. But in this one, you can see some of my cards like got folded up when I was shuffling too quick. But this is you finally realizing, okay, these things might be spilled, but I'm going to walk away with love, gratitude, and compassion for the circumstances and what they taught me. And I'm going to go ahead and choose these two full cups and that bridge to my kingdom. This is no longer allowing these negative situations to rock you, which is new car, baby, and travel. They both came out together. Okay. So this is new life, everything moving forward. You're moving from A to B, from one situation to another, from one frequency to another. You're up leveling in your frequency. Also, psychic development is here. We had the tapping into your gifts card to start the reading, so you have practiced your gifts, discernment being one of them, but your intuition, you're following that, your gut, your heart, whatever it comes through for you, you're listening to your intuitive guidance, however it comes through for you, and it is getting you from A to B in a new ride, baby. Okay, so it could be literally you getting a new car, maybe taking a road trip or something like that. Hey, take me with you. But joy showing up on the bottom of the deck. Embrace joy in every possible moment that you can. Transmute shit situations into joyous energy. And how do you do that? Laugh. Ask anyone who's super traumatized that has a morbid sense of humor. Okay. We know how to transmute easy. Okay. So tap into that. Even if you have to bring a little bit of morbidity into it, it's like I talked about yesterday. Yeah, I have my own times where I'm having a shitty day, or, a couple days, couple weeks, whatever. Things happen to me in my life too. I'm not immune from trash situations popping up. All right. But it's how you navigate those situations, feel the emotions, address what's going on. But then after you are done feeling and expressing all of that shit, now it's time to get up. Okay. Now it's time to put on your big girl panties or your big boy panties, whatever you wear. No panties, that's fine too. And get fucking going. Tangled threads, bottom of the deck. Untangle complexities with patience, discovering clarity in transitions. So pay attention to what's going on. Untangle these knots, these situations that are not working, that are causing you to either experience trauma or re-experience trauma. You could be, experiencing a new set of trauma circumstances. I don't know your life, but whatever it is, get to the root of it. It's time to really, you could do some root chakra cleansing too, side note, But it's time to really get to the root of it, to the bottom of it, and heal it from the bottom up. Steph is a really great healer, has really great tips on stuff like that too. If you want to reach out to him, he's really awesome. So, harness your inner strength to confront challenges with unwavering resilience, harnessing resolve. So, you may need to self advocate. You're always wearing your big girl panties, Steph. I know you are. You show them off all the time. No, I'm kidding. So, harnessing resolve, harnessing that inner strength to confront any challenges that you're experiencing with unwavering resistance. So, I'm sorry, resilience, not resistance. That's completely counterproductive to what we're doing here. You might be trying to apply some resistance. Whatever you resist persists, okay? So put your hands up, let it go, step away from the situation, balance yourself, and then go back to it. You'll be able to see more clearly when you're in a balanced state. So, balance yourself. That's harnessing your resolve and confronting these challenges, facing those fears with your unwavering strength that you've built up through experiences in the past, okay? Stripping illusions. Problems arise because there's energy that is misaligned, and it's bringing that to your awareness. So if you look at it from that perspective, what is energetically off here? What is imbalanced here? And what can I do to create more balance? That's what it's all about. And then that brings us to New Day, card number 11, alignment. Okay. The dragonfly, transformation. Again, lots of transformation going on lately. And whenever you're in a transformative period, it's uncomfortable. It sucks. Okay. It's not easy. It's painful at times, but you can handle it, move through it, express it, feel it, whatever you need to do, and release it. Consciously release any kind of blocks or lack, stagnation, poverty mindset. We're talking about one-sided relationships, lack of reciprocity, so you over giving in relationships and not receiving enough in return. It's time to stop that shit. Get to the bottom of why do you feel the need to overcompensate whenever the balance is off in a relationship. Oh, thank you, Heidi. I'm glad it resonates, love. Flourishing knot. Once you untangle those things, once you bring light and awareness to why you manifest these situations in your life, then you can start to do something about it. Discover the mysteries of life, finding wisdom in its intricate beauty with that flourishing knot card. So even in the disappointments, even in the pain, there is beauty. Think of it like a really good movie, that's not like an action movie, you guys. I'm talking about something that has your emotions, like you're really engaged in the story and the characters, and there's ups and downs. There's tragedy and all of these things, and you'll see the characters experiencing pain. And there are so many movies that kind of embody this, but there's so much beauty in the pain. If you're a reader, there's tons of books like this too. But when we're viewing another's story, it's easier for us to find the beauty in their pain, in their experiences that might have been painful for them. But in our own story, it's really difficult because we're so close to the situation. We're so attached to the outcome, to the emotions that we're experiencing, to the pain that we're experiencing, that it's not very beautiful, right? But think of artists and poets, authors, dancers, it doesn't matter what they do. They bring this pain or this experience through their work, and it makes it so much more powerful. So understanding the deep beauty, the intrinsic beauty woven through your pain, but also through your pleasure, it will help you to step back a little bit from the attachment to the situations, allow you to perhaps bring forgiveness to the situations. Oh, Ariana, I love you. Thank you. Letting go, releasing, and trusting that what is meant for you is coming in, okay? Because you've seen it with that psychic development. You've been developing your intuitive senses, and that's bringing you to this new vehicle, this new vessel that's moving you into this new phase of your life. Brand new shiny car, baby. And it could be a literal car. I don't know. Go on a road trip because it says travel. You could be going on a mushroom trip. I don't even care. Whatever you're doing, do it with the intent to enjoy yourself and to heal if you're going on a mushroom trip or anything like that. You love the blue lotus oil. Used it to massage your husband yesterday. Awesome. How did your hubby like it? Thank you, Ariana. I love it when people enjoy my stuff. So don't allow these triggers, these pains, these situations that shake you, that rock you, don't allow them to throw you off balance, okay? Anchor even deeper that balance so that you can anchor in, and it's like binding in, like binding or weaving in this anchored new timeline. I don't know how else to word it because they just throw a bunch of information at me and they're like, okay, sift through that. So hopefully you guys got the gist of that, because that kind of came out confusing from my perspective. But yeah, thank you guys. Love you. That's what I got for today. And then we're going to get into talking about psychosis, things that are labeled as psychosis, like schizophrenia, DID, dissociative identity disorder, multiple personalities, things like that. I have wanted to bring it up and talk about it, but just never did. Not for any specific reason, just there were other things, I guess. I don't know. Other topics. But I watched a show, I think it was on HBO Max, a few days ago, that was, what is it called? I don't remember exactly what it was called. You have bipolar and ADHD. I'm ADHD here, autistic, ADHD, amongst many other labels, I'm sure. You're welcome, Steph. Love you. So I think it's something really important because it's something that's still very misunderstood, even in spiritual communities. A lot of us are aware that indigenous cultures, shamanic type, whatever they call them, doesn't matter if they're a medicine man, shaman, whatever they call them, and whatever, doesn't matter. From a shamanic perspective, it is looked at very differently than Western medicine looks at these things. They label it as psychosis, but absolutely not. Dang it. I don't know why my comments aren't registering over here. I gotta expand the comments section, but I gotta let my computer refresh, guys. Hold on, and I'll get to your questions. Okay. There we go. Okay. Recently diagnosed with being bipolar by a psychiatrist. Okay. You're welcome, Susan. I love you. Done a past life regression with someone who has schizophrenia. Be interested to know what the higher self said and how it went. I have not done one on a person with schizophrenia or any kind of imbalances like that. for a reason. It's really difficult to get to the true identity of a person who is experiencing that because there's a lot of fragmentation that happens. So it wouldn't be a proper regression and higher self session because of that. So so I have done a proxy. I've actually done 2 proxy sessions for people who were doing it for themselves first and foremost, but did do some proxy healing for a loved one that was experiencing that. So I have done proxy sessions for those, and the information that comes through is a bit different than what anyone might anticipate. They would need to experience a soul retrieval. I'm trying to filter through all the labels. Okay, some kind of a soul retrieval where the fragmented pieces are brought back. Sorry, my kids are overstimulating me too when my brain's trying to work. They're having fun, but so you would need to do some kind of a soul retrieval and multiple, not just one. They would need to be worked with in order to integrate these fragments back into the whole. So I have done not a hypnosis, but I have done healing work for those who have experienced DID as well. So your psychosis is similar to shamanic experiences. Yes. We're going to get into that in just a second. Sorry, I was getting off track on some comments there, but I'll rein it back in. I will rein it back in. I do not know why. Okay.
Here you go. Here's your cat.
Thank you. I love you. Go on. I'm on. He knows I don't want to show their faces, so he did that on purpose. Little turd. Yeah, so defragmenting by soul retrieval that's the answer. You would want to do that, and there would need to probably be multiple sessions in order to get there because it's very intensive work, and the person that you're working with is not always, oh, thank you, is not always energetically aligned to follow through on their work because they also have to do their work as well. So whenever you are working with someone who is fragmented in this way and probably traumatized and has a lot more things going on mentally because of the way that these things are viewed through our current society and for the past forever, okay, for Western medicine. So I have some notes here. I'm going to try to focus on these. Clinical understanding of psychosis and schizophrenia. The definition, okay, of psychosis, and we're talking about not the actual thing. He's kind of, yeah, he's a twin. He was twin A. He's the oldest twin. His brother is 1 minute younger than him. So he's the oldest twin. So by definition, it is a mental state involving loss of contact with reality and could be a temporary state like a psychotic episode or part of a chronic condition like something like schizophrenia. That's how they are viewed through current Western medicine. Symptoms can be hallucination. Not always. This is in the most extreme cases. Auditory hallucinations, hearing voices, music, or sounds that aren't there. That, visual hallucinations, seeing people, shadows, or scenes that others don't see. Tactile hallucinations, feeling sensations like insects crawling on their skin and things like that. Um, and olfactory, gustatory, smelling or tasting things that aren't real. Delusions, paranoid delusions, belief that one is being watched or persecuted. Grandiose delusions, belief one has special powers or identity, like I am God, which there's a lot that I have personally seen that have experienced that, which they're not off. they're not off, okay, but they kind of get into the imbalanced part of that and take it somewhere completely different. So, okay. I thought you were beloved at first, Steph. I was about to banhammer you, but I seen it. Okay. So, religious delusions. This can be a thing too. In that show that I watched, I think it's Six Brothers or something like that. It's about a family of 12 children, and 6 of the brothers developed schizophrenia. So, belief in divine connection or messages from God or spirits, thought insertion and withdrawal, belief that thoughts are being placed or pulled from one's mind. Disorganized thinking and speech, they could speak incoherently, jump between completely unrelated ideas. Hypnotherapy is, at first it's past life regression and then it goes into the higher self. It wouldn't, if you either one, if you did just a past life regression or if you did on a full on quantum hypnosis with them, you wouldn't reach the intended destination with them because everything's fragmented. It's all disorganized and completely out of balance. So it's not, it could do more harm than good to even try. So it is not something that you would want to attempt until they were, brought back to wholeness, the fragments and integrated back into the whole. Okay. Disorganized or abnormal behaviors like agitation, repetitive movements, or even catatonia, not saying, not speaking, not moving, just kind of existing there, which happens and has happened historically to anyone that's experienced any kind of anything like this, or even going into an institution. It's really sad. I know, but they do sign up for these things for the experience and to overcome these things, or, not to be able to overcome them, but to express deeply rooted traumas within ancestral lines. And, bringing attention to the things that the family didn't really want to look at before, but now they really can't ignore it. So we'll get into that too in a minute, because that was a great point. Ariana, thank you. Negative symptoms: reduced emotional expression, social withdrawal, lack of motivation or speech. And these things can be caused by, from the clinical perspective, arises in the late teens or 30s, caused by genetic vulnerability, trauma, stress, or substance use, brain structure abnormalities, or neurochemical imbalances, especially in with regard to dopamine. That's the clinical view of things, okay? So we're going to look at spiritual and shamanic interpretations for this. So reframing the symptoms as a spiritual awakening. What modern psychiatry sees as delusion, many ancient traditions see as initiation. So hallucinations, visions, or any other, like we discussed, any other kind of hallucinations that one might encounter with this, it's visions, or it's tapping into other realms. Just because regular people cannot tap into this, they can't perceive this, doesn't mean that it's not real. We know that. But um, hearing voices could be spirit communication. But if they're in a fear state, if they are traumatized, if they are fragmented and wounded, think, whatever you focus on starts to exacerbate, starts to grow. So if they're fearful of it, or they believe that it's negative or evil or scary, then that's the energy that it's going to take on. These people are especially powerful with that aspect. There's no filter. Okay. So that's why it can go really bad really fast, is because they are incredibly powerful. It's like the raw form of what we all have as human beings, our power, our access, all of these things that we have suppressed or have been, taken out of our DNA and things like that. Stuff we've talked about over the last couple of weeks. So, disconnection from linear thought is multidimensional awareness. Just because you can't form, thoughts in a way to interact with the world around you does not mean that there's something wrong with you. You're straddling many different realities, existences, dimensions all at once. So of course it's going to be overwhelming. But the these things just suddenly happening for people causes initiatory crisis, um, like a spiritual emergency. Okay. Common signs are visions, emotional extremes, ego death, channeling unknown languages, light language. Okay. Seen in cultures across the world, Siberian shamans, African sangomas, Amazonian curanderos. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce those all perfectly, so don't come for me. Characteristics of a shamanic crisis often involves isolation, dismemberment visions, otherworldly beings. Like, it can be some really difficult stuff. The person must be trained by an elder or a guide in order to safely navigate these things. So being guided through this experience, which eventually we'll get there. Got to learn how to keep your shit together. Yeah, some people it's really difficult. Yeah, we'll just say that for some it's really difficult. Like for me, I've never really been a fearful person, so it's difficult for me to talk with someone else about something that they're fearing. If I think, like, why would you be afraid of that? Like the people that are absolutely deathly afraid of little teeny tiny spiders, non-venomous little spiders, it's like they freak out, they have a physiological reaction, and they're just, it's really real for them. And I can have compassion for that, but I personally don't understand, like, why are you afraid of? It's a little spider, I'll pick it up with my hand and move it for you. But people respond differently depending on the person. Hi, Naomi. Thank you for joining us, love. So it's really, we need to get back to the shamanic perspective of things, where we assist these people, those of us who know and have experienced walking between realms, because they're not broken. They're just a little misaligned. And whenever they're taken to these doctors and these institutions and these things that tell them that it's because there's something wrong with them, and they really implant more of that fear, then things start to exacerbate and get much worse. They just need to be guided. They need to be helped to understand their gifts, because that's what they are. They're gifts. But fuck spiders, they're always on you. Oh my gosh, you killed a wolf spider in your chair this morning? That's crazy. I never get spiders on me, Holly. Option. Aw. I'm glad she's getting the help that she needs, Susan. That's awesome. Not prepared for. Yeah, it's really difficult, Heidi. It really, really can be, because especially if you go from 0 to 60 just like that, not having a whole lot of access to these kinds of things, and then all of a sudden these things are starting to happen. Your world can kind of feel like a vortex. And finding a spider, hold on. Finding a spider 2 days in a row inside your apartment. Hey, spiders are abundance. Okay, so all my life as a child, even as a child, it's ridiculous. It's so funny. I love spiders. I'll pick them up with my hands. My kids do it too, and it really freaks people out. But I love little, you know, oddities and creepy crawlies and stuff. They have my heart. Um, okay, let's try to rope it back in here. Okay, a person may receive messages from nature, ancestors, or otherworldly beings. A person must be trained by an elder or a guide to safely navigate it. Um, Without proper guidance, these beings can overwhelm the individual. So that's why being helped to understand what's going on, um, you know, how to navigate the spiritual realms, because those of us who come through with like lifetimes of this, and we're here to volunteer, and we're here just, our gifts come naturally and we understand them, if not immediately, then over time we understand, we integrate, we can decipher, because we still kind of have that membrane between tangible reality and the rest of reality. So we still have that firm understanding of that, where in these cases, when you have so much fragmentation and so much fear and misunderstanding of what you're experiencing happening, then you really don't have that much of that membrane there. And it just kind of disappears. Whatever remnants were left will disappear, because it's overwhelmed by all of the fear and the being told you're broken, you're unacceptable, you're scary. And most people that experience these kinds of what they clinically call psychosis, um, most of them are not dangerous, not to themselves and not to others. But some of them can be. It just really depends on the trauma experiences, just like, anyone else. They can be an asshole, they can be abusive, they can be whatever if they have certain experiences, but they can also have those same experiences and choose better. Okay, so it really depends on the individual, their individual experiences, their how they perceived those, how they experienced those. And it's all about what you do with the energy moving forward. But in these cases, you don't really have that conscious awareness. So this is why it's really important to nurture, to walk with these individuals. And this is where our society is eventually headed, once it realizes this. So the key differences between psychosis and spiritual awakening. You kill everything that moves around you, Sonia. Oh my gosh. I can't do it. I really resonated with ants and a bug's life, and it breaks my heart, because I'm like, what if their mom's expecting them home? From the perspective that spiders are abundant, you're terrified of them. I mean, it happens, people or souls have been victimized by spiders and anything else. So it's a legitimate fear. It's just something that I don't have, so I can't personally connect with the understanding of what the person is going through, but I can hold compassion for those people. So basically, I was saying that it's very much the same thing. You may not be able to understand it from that very real, tangible depth, but you can have compassion for those going through the experience, because every experience is absolutely valid. Um, Psychosis experiences are very scary. You've had a few. Yes. So whenever you're in that fear state, it's really difficult for you to be able to step outside of that and, try to bring some understanding to the situation, to calm yourself enough to see things a little differently. So this is why it's so important, instead of institutionalizing or drugging up these people, it's important to catch it, pretty early on. Obviously, early detection and working with them, helping them understand, is important for, the future evolution of the way that we view these things. So we don't, yeah, I don't need to go through those. I'm trying to make sure that we're doing good on time here. So I've got really extensive notes. Wait. Aw, that's so nice, Susan. Even though it's a fly, I do not mind killing flies at all. Flies, mosquitoes, gnats, those kinds of things, I don't mind killing. It's everything else that I have a hard time with. Um, so, bridging both worlds, trauma informed, spirit aware perspectives. So, the shared root of disruption in perception of reality could be caused by trauma or spiritual rupture, opening of psychotic, or crikey, I am so sorry, did not mean to say that. Opening of psychic senses without grounding. Just, we talk about this all the time. Grounding is so important, especially when you're going through a spiritual awakening or shadow work, dark night of the soul, just your regular day-to-day existing on this plane. Okay, grounding is so important because it is your connection to Gaia, but it is also your anchor, your grounding wire. If you don't have your energy grounded, it will short circuit. Think of electricity. Okay, so it is so important to ground your energy. Hey, Ben. Oh, Ben wanted you. Okay, tell him we said, hey, Ben. Flies are assholes. I agree, Patrick. Hey, how are you, love? Um, so, yeah, opening of your psychic senses. If you have a huge, open, and overactive crown chakra, then you really need to ground yourself. You need to have a really balanced and grounded root chakra if you're bringing in a lot of spiritual energy. And a lot of people don't understand that they can turn down the amount that they're bringing in intentionally, consciously. That's why we need to start really making this mainstream information. You have to be grounded, especially if you're doing psychic work. It is like the most important thing, other than, protection. I would say it's more important than protection, though, because if you're not grounded, you're not going to be able to place your protections, you know, good enough, I guess, is because I'm like trying to reach for all of these words because I have this vast vocabulary and I'm like, it comes out good enough. So, all right. It's been a long day. I've done a lot today. So give me a break. Sudden energetic shifts like Kundalini awakening can cause this. So ground, ground, ground. It is so important. Integration is very important. Not all psychosis is a spiritual awakening, but some is. Okay. A lot of it is repressed traumas and shadow work that needs to happen, and not the person not being informed on that, not knowing how to self-heal. So suppression and trying to ignore it. Why do you think that the masculine's been so toxic for so many millennia, right? Energy clearing is very important to help to integrate. Okay, let me see. Integration tools, grounding in nature or body work, grounding through meditation. You don't have to always go out in nature, but it is the most optimal way to ground. Energy clearing, journaling and dream work, breath work, and sound healing. Your breath is sacred. Grounding, whenever I do any kind of grounding work, I am always doing my breath work. Your breath anchors you into your vessel. Sound healing, frequency healing, keeping the frequencies high. That means less chance of any kind of negativity, any kind of scary or weird hallucinations, as they call them, visions, auditory stimulation, anything like that. Um, Therapeutic and spiritual guidance. Very important that these people are seen and heard and are able to open up and share their experiences and also be guided through them by, you know, someone who is like a shaman or someone who is very well versed in straddling the realms of the physical and the spiritual. Hey, Linda, love you. Hop right in the pot of soul soup. We're ready for you, girlfriend. So, the role of practitioners and community. Modern spiritual leaders can act as the village elder was for shamans. So, you can support them through creating space, a safe space to process energy healing and hypnosis eventually after the soul retrieval, after the integration, right? Understanding symbolic language of visions, because you have to apply dream world context to these because they're not tangible world, left brained types of things that are coming through in your visions. If you get psychotic episodes or anxiety or panic attacks, focus your energy on your physical body, work your way down from your head to your feet. It will help to ground you. Thank you, Steph. You've been diagnosed with schizophrenia. You are intensely spiritually gifted, and you just need to understand how to ground and balance your energy, how to heal these fragmented parts of you, because that's what fragments are. It's just whenever you experience some kind of trauma or difficulty, hey Nicole, it causes fragments within your spiritual body, which shows up in intangible ways by the imbalances, what they call psychosis or schizophrenia, DID, things like that. I would say definitely link up with someone or communities like this one. If you haven't joined our group yet, you can do that. If you follow my page already, you'll get an automatic invite to our Facebook group, and we would love to support you. You can post in there anonymously or whatever. But having the guidance and the support, and there are people who specialize in these areas. There are, you can follow shamans on TikTok or any kind of social media nowadays. It's so amazing how these things are starting to really spread again. But understanding how to do this shadow work, how to do the healing on yourself, and understanding that it's not anything that's wrong with you. It's not, this disorder. It is dis-ease because it is imbalance, but it is absolutely nothing that is wrong with you. You have a much more solid connection to your gifts and abilities than most people do. There's just not the grounding that is present. There's not the understanding and experience to, as to what these gifts are, how to discern them. People with schizophrenia are misunderstood, Naomi. Absolutely. So making it, conversation, getting it out there, not being afraid to discuss these things, not being afraid to understand things more deeply. That's what it's all about. So making these things more uh, mainstream, I guess, is the way that we create the new world. This is how we build the foundations for successful mental health help, right? Now YouTube notifies you that I'm live. Awesome. Hello, Trudy. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Let me see. I'm going to try to get through this. I think I'm almost done at the end of my little outline here. So, breathwork, sound healing, therapeutic, and spiritual guidance are all good for supporting this. It's very much a transition. Okay. So, reaching out to someone who has experience in shamanic work, in soul retrieval, in integration, those kinds of things can really help you if you are suffering, if you're having a hard time, moving through and integrating this as a part of your daily life. Oh yeah, I was already past that anyway. So we can create safe spaces for these beings to process, to understand, to heal, and to move forward in their magic, in their power. Energy healing and hypnosis are helpful. Hypnosis, obviously, after the soul fragmentation has been integrated. So, after the soul retrieval, understanding symbolic language of visions, remembering that you can't apply tangible world ideas to these otherworldly type of visions because it's not even close to being the same. So, you have to apply dream logic to these experiences, not only visions, any way that you experience these what they call hallucinations. Okay, so reframing your fear with purpose, over being able to overcome your fears and understanding that you are not a victim, you're actually very powerful, and because you have this kind of access, it sets you apart. So don't go imbalanced with it. Obviously, everything in balance, always, everything in balance. Because if you go off with that, then you can get that, um, you know, what's the word that I use? I'm trying to, there's a lot. Yeah. Anyways, you guys know what I mean, I think. If not, sorry. Just not going to go there. My brain's not functioning in a way that would allow me to say that without it being possibly misconstrued. Okay, so Carl Jung said, the psychotic drowns in the same waters in which the mystic swims with delight. This is not labeling anyone with those experiences as psychotic. That's just what Carl Jung says. I'm I'm just the messenger, okay? Thank you, Nicole. Okay, a Dagara shaman said, what Western psychologists sees as mental illness, the Dagara people regard as good news from the other world. Indigenous beliefs in various traditions. The individual is not broken, they're being initiated. Love you. See you tomorrow. Have a beautiful evening, Ariana. Use some more of that massage oil. Maybe massage hubby after the soccer game. I don't know. Maybe have a massage you for once. Love you, girl. We'll see you tomorrow. All right. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah. So the individual is not broken, they're being initiated. It's time to look at these things instead of from a fearful perspective and a they're broken, they're not normal perspective. we need to embrace them and their journey and help them along their journey. It's just a lack of understanding and true experience. Um, so, what are they to do if you don't have someone to help you navigate these things that are very intense for a lot of people? Then how do you expect to move forward? How do you expect them to live a normal life? So it's time to really start having these conversations and coming to a deeper understanding that no, these people are not broken. They are actually very gifted and they are a gift. Uh, they can see and sense things that most people are completely deaf and blind to. So it is actually a very deep gift. Something that also does, I was going to talk about this, like the uh, documentary show that I told you guys about that I watched. I think it's called Six Brothers or something like that. Um, but it's these 6 out of 12 siblings that developed schizophrenia. And a couple of them had it very, extreme cases, especially after your mom passed away. I'm sorry about that. And, those kinds of traumas can make it incredibly more difficult on the person. So I'm really sorry that you've experienced that, Naomi, but you are absolutely gifted and strong and beautiful, and your story matters. Your story is powerful. So uh, definitely look at your experience with understanding that it is because you are, I don't want to say more gifted, but I kind of do than your family members, okay? And certain situations where there are tragic experiences for people that have, schizophrenia or any other kind of mental disorder, what they like to call it. Um, a lot of times they are the ones that are surfacing family, um, genetic traumas and suppressed gifts. Even if families have been suppressing their spiritual gifts throughout bloodlines, and then all of a sudden a family member is born with their gifts popping off the hook, they can no longer turn a blind eye to that, right? They have to face it. They have to deal with it and come to some sort of an understanding, even if it's not the right one. In this experience, then they'll continue to learn and evolve as they reincarnate. But it's like taking on tremendous, um, heavy baggage from generations worth of people had terrible trauma, and that definitely can, onset symptoms. And even if there's been no kind of behavioral cues or anything like that to believe that someone might uh, experience schizophrenia or anything similar, trauma is like the catalyst. It will, you know, catapult you into that experience. And that's most often how these things start to come about, is through trauma, which of course it's going to be a lower frequency. There's going to be fear, there's going to be pain. And then whenever you are in that frequency, you're going to manifest experiences that are aligned with the frequency of trauma, pain, fear, and so forth. So understanding of how energy works and how to use your spiritual protections and how to maintain a higher frequency and retrieve these fragments of your soul. You don't have to do it all at once. It's not likely to happen. But there will be multiple scenarios where you will go and retrieve a fragment of yourself and then integrate it back into the whole. Um, and I know it sounds difficult, but it is not impossible. I did, for someone pretty close to me, I'm not going to, talk about who they are or anything like that, but someone very close to me experienced DID, and to the point where they had complete, you know, blackout periods of time where they don't remember anything. that took place over several hours. So we did this retrieval and reintegrated them, and they did a little bit of follow-up work because very, very much a healer, very gifted healer. So they were able to do the follow-up work when they understood what was going on and the information, um, you know, about their experience and these other parts of them, right? These other fragments of them. I had conversations with them and really was able to get information in that way as well. And we integrated it, and then we went through a session where we did a retrieval and integration. So you've had weeks of amnesia. Goodness, my aunt has a mental disorder, was having visions and ended up having her driver's license taken away and medicated. Her son is schizophrenic. He lives in a special home. Aw, that's that's really sad to hear, Linda. I'm sorry about that, love. Oh, I'm trying to scroll up to see, dang it, the other comments, but this is giving me a hard time. Come on, man. You butter. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to operate technology here. Quiet for you all on this topic. It's no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Yes. Thank you, Steph. Okay. Okay. Um, some are aggressive, and again, that really comes down to their experiences, how they were raised, and how they were disciplined. You know, a lot of times that is a really big factor. Um, Traumas and fears, how they uniquely perceive and express those things. So it's just like anyone else, you know, like I said, anyone can be an asshole, anyone can be abusive, anyone can, you know, exhibit these kinds of negative behaviors. But whenever it comes to someone who is very amplified in their experience and in their perceptions and their gifts, they're behavior is going to come across as amplified as well, especially if they have a label of some kind of a mental disorder. It's going to be very much amplified by that, just by how they are perceived by others that are considered normal. Um, so yeah, there are, like that show that I was talking about. One of the brothers had unalived his girlfriend and then himself. One attempted to do the same thing with a wife that was leaving. And then the other one was mostly just abusive towards the mother, and would exhibit like odd behaviors, like removing every piece of furniture from inside the house and just putting it outside. Um, you know, it's just symptoms of the fragmentation, and the mother absolutely dedicated her life to try to keep them out of the institutions and continue to go and see many different doctors and, you know, try to work with them and try to keep them home. But she was also not a very patient person and would respond to those kinds of behaviors by going into fits of rage. So there's a lot that comes into play. There's a lot of fragmentation and illness with regard to the, you know, the family unit usually, that kind of creates the perfect storm for this thing to take place. And then everyone's responding with a toxic perspective and a toxic response, because that's what was ingrained in them and taught to them throughout, you know, their upbringing, and their parents got that from their parents and so forth, you know. So it really is bringing these generational patterns to the forefront and causing the family to have to look at these things instead of suppressing them and ignoring them. And a lot of times the relationships they're going to be triggered very deeply in many ways. Sister-in-law tried to unalive her 2 kids. Oh my goodness. Fought for custody of the kids and they're still with you. You're so amazing, Sonia. I love you. So anybody have any points that I didn't cover or any questions that I might not have addressed? I'm a little scatterbrained today. Had a lot going on. And we're an hour and 15 in. I'm going to holler at my kids to jump in the bath real quick. Hold on. Okay. I didn't want to yell in your guys' face. But yes, it really depends on individual circumstances, Sonia, as to how anyone who experiences anything like this, how that might express from the individual. But yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions or any points that you want to make that I didn't make, anything that I didn't address. You're welcome. I know it went by so fast. I don't know if you've ever joined us on a replay or joined us live, just maybe your first time commenting, but we do this 5 days a week. We always have different topics and we always have a really good time. So please join us if you resonate with us. Pretty thorough, beloved. Thank you, Steph. I thought I would be a little more structured and organized, but I was trying to do TikTok, and for me, jumping from one energy flow to another one is really difficult. You're welcome, Heidi. So yeah, my own labels, ADHD stuff just interferes with that, but it's all good. Love you, Matt. Have a beautiful evening. Get some rest. All right. Awesome, Heidi. Thank you. Thank you, Wendy. I love you. All right, guys. I will be back with you tomorrow. I love you, Anna. And tomorrow is my Friday. So I will be, we'll be starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and 1 a.m. British summertime. And then I won't see you guys Friday or Saturday, but I will be back Sunday with early podcast day. And that starts at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, and 9 p.m. British summertime. If I can get all of this out without tripping over my tongue. Thank you, Sue. I love you guys. I will let you know what tomorrow's episode is going to be later on tonight. I will have that posted for you. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for supporting me. I love you so much, and I will see you tomorrow. Mwah. Love you, Patrick. Love everyone. Love you, Linda, Susan.